Just a quick disclaimer before the video starts. Sorry I haven't been posting recently. I've just been really busy and I'm going to be posting a lot more now. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hey guys, and welcome back to SnowRunner, and today we're going to be testing out the tttYXhUbCG mod. It's an amazing pickup truck, and recently they added console mods. So personally I have the Xbox One, and so now I can test out some of these mods. And there are loads and loads of great mods and great vehicles and maps you can use in mod.io. And yeah, if you have any questions, then ask the Focus community. They will be adding more and more mods over time. They just have to get it certified with Xbox and make sure that it's appropriate for the console. And so yeah, we're going to load into the game. We're going to be using Truck Day in America. And it's a great map for testing out trucks and stuff. So we're loaded in. This is the starter car. We are not testing this truck out. We are just going into the garage and gonna pick out the tttYXhUbCG. Now this map is huge. Lots choices just to pick out so that you can test out your mod or your truck or anything. And so yeah, there's lots of trucks that you can buy, but we're not here for that. We're here for the mods. As you can see, I have some other mods downloaded, but we're picking the tttYXhUbCG. It's an amazing truck. And yeah, we're just going to be testing it out stock. First, there are tons and tons of customization options for this truck, but we're going to be testing it out stock so you guys can just see and feel how it looks and feel to drive it completely stock. Now it doesn't do that well just because it has the highway tires on it, so it's gonna suck in a little bit in the snow and the mud, but of course it is stock. And you can add mud tires, huge mud tires. There's so many options for mud tires, and the customization is endless in this truck, and it's doing pretty well for the snow for being stock, and it has a great interior for being a mod. Most mods have crap interiors. It does pretty good on these jumps, these snowy jumps. And yeah, we're gonna be testing it out on a few things in the water and a few things. Like firstly, we're gonna be doing it in the water right here and see how well it does. Wow, it's not doing too good. I mean, it is not, it's completely flat and not lifted at all. Yeah, I guess that's broken, but whatever. But now it is time to test and just put on all the customization options. Now, there are a few engine options that you can do. There is the power stroke and stuff. There's a few suspension and gearboxes. There are lots and lots of suspensions you can do. I personally use the iX Monster since it can fit humongous wheels. And like I said, you don't want those highway tires because they don't do any good at all in the mud or in the snow. You're going to want some of those mud tires or chain. Off-road tires are okay, but they're not the best. And of course, we're not going to want those small 39-inch tires. We're going to want those big 61-inch tires. And it's going to take a bit because there are just so many tires on this truck. And there are so many options. Personally, I use the dualies in the front and in the back. There are triple dualies. It is insane. And yeah, so guys, you make sure not to use highway tires at all in SnowRunner unless you're only on the road, because honestly, there is no point of those tires in this game. And as you can see, we're gonna put some of like this preference. There are these kind of dualies, and I use these dualies. And then you can have normal tires. As you can see, they're pretty normal, and then you can have dualies just in the back. And so there are a lot of options. And if you don't like any of these tires, then you can try some of the highway tires Like I said, they're not worth it, but if you just want it for the pictures or the design, then go for it. Winch wise, let's do the IX version, and the back wedges that you want. And then for the back, I just use a stock bed with some supplies in it, because it is honestly just makes the truck look and flow like a truck, and it makes it look more like a pickup truck. I put the roof rack on it so they can have more supplies. Of course, if you're using this in the real campaign, all that supplies will be very, very helpful. In the front bumper, there are so many options, and there are just so many options for this truck in general, but I usually use this bumper. It is big, tough looking, and it is just protective of the engine. And then you can have your badges on it, and then there are many exhaust choices. I'm just gonna put the muzzle on. It is completely massive, and it is so cool looking. And then you don't have any rim options, and I'm just gonna do the red paint. There are so many red paint options in general, and then there are these cool paint colors. And then yeah, we might as well put on a bobblehead just for the fun of it. And yeah, this truck looks so cool, and it is as powerful as it looks. It is actually more powerful than it looks, and those dualies just look so good on the back. It is a massive truck, and we're gonna take it out for a spin now. It is so much different from the stock version. It is so much more massive, and it just looks like a little monster. So we're gonna drive it. It's doing so much better on the hills since it has such a better suspension. Its suspension is very soft, and that's one of the things I don't like about the Monster, is it's very soft. And I like my suspension firm. Not too firm or soft, just in the middle, a little firmer. And as you can see, it does so much better in the water. No problems, because it has those massive tires that act as like flotation devices, and then it's just lifted higher up in the air, and it's not balanced all the way down in the ground level to the ground, and it easily can get out of the water. That water is pretty shallow for water, and it isn't that much of a current. We're gonna test it out in these muddy rocks. It does amazing. Those mud tires are insane. Now let's test it up this hill. One of the problems with this truck is if you want it this lifted, you're not going to be able to go on hills or anything like that, because as you can see, it does like start to roll, and it just wants to roll if you put it in those kind of steep mountains or anything like that, because honestly, it's not like that. It just doesn't want to do that. I bet if it was lower, then it wouldn't do that, but that's just how the truck is. It rolls very easily as such a big truck. Let's just roll it back down, and yeah, we're gonna test it out on more stuff if it will let us go any farther. It is gonna be a little bit of a pain. That wrench, or the winch, is very powerful. It can easily pend over this massive truck. It is a bit of a struggle, but eventually, if you get it on the right spot, as you can see there, it easily does it, no problem. Now the truck is a little damaged now, no problemo, and as you can see there, another mention and just example of how well and easily it will flip over. Now it can climb out of this situation pretty easily, just because it has such big tires, and they are mud tires, so they do have good grip. And now it does have to have a little bit of help from the winch, but that's okay. That's what the winch is for, helping the truck out of a tough situation. Now we're gonna test it on these logs. As you can see, the suspension is insane. It has an insane suspension. It can climb over those logs like nothing. And the suspension is so soft that it obviously is just a good truck. It makes the truck better. As you can see there, it has no reaction to the rail track. Like, honestly, if you were driving a firm suspension, it would be the opposite. And as you can see, it doesn't do that well on the ice. You can't turn very well, but that is because we're using the mud tires. Of course, if you use chain tires or anything like that, it would be much better, and it wouldn't be as trash on the ice. And we're gonna skip to the part where it is on the mud, since I do get a little stuck. Right, I had to cut about a minute out of the video just because it got very stuck in the snow or on the ice, and I finally get it on to the snow. And yeah, it does pretty good in the snow just because it has such big tires. Of course, most trucks don't have that availability, and it would do much better if you had chains on. So that's also a possibility. I'm not going to be showing the chains in this video because we're going to be focusing on the mud. So if you want to see that, tell me in the comment section below, and I will try to do it in a future video. As you can see, it just does great in this watery mud, and has no problem at all compared to most trucks that are maxed out that don't have any power like this at all. It is just insane how powerful this truck is. It does amazing on these rocky mud, I guess. And yeah, it does pretty good in the water. This is very shallow water. It doesn't get stuck in the mud at all, to be honest. It doesn't get stuck in anything except for ice. That's the only thing that it gets stuck in. And that, of course, is when it's in not chain tires or spike tires. And it does great in this water too. It may look like very shallow water, but it is not. It is actually pretty deep water. Most trucks would sink or drown by then, because it may look small just because it's just such a massive truck. I'm not going to show the bridge part because the truck is just way too big, and the dualies are just going to make it too hard. And that is the end of the track. I will show how well it goes over the pipes just for video. Oh damn, we just rolled it. See, you can't do that. It just rolls way too easily. But that is another thing. The winch is just so powerful. Watch that winch. Pull it like it's nothing. That truck must be so heavy. Like, I don't know how that winch does that. That must be like a steel winch twin motor or something. And yeah, that truck cannot be, it's not very driftable, obviously, because it will just roll. And because it has such massive tires, it has no problem on these pipes. Of course, it flings into the air, but that's because it has such a soft suspension. And we'll go back around and I'll do full speed if it will let me without falling into the water, because I don't think I'll be able to get out of that water, because that water is a bit deeper than the other waters, and it's very steep. And as I have said, it doesn't like steep. And yeah, as you can see, I'm doing full speed, pedal to the metal, and it is doing insane power. It did take a little damage there, but that is nothing. And it just is an insane truck. I highly recommend it. And yeah, that's basically all. I'm just gonna drive it off the cliff, and then I can teleport it back to the main menu. Now, like I have said all throughout this video, this is a very powerful truck, and I highly recommend you subscribe to the truck and you drive around with it at least once. And if you don't like it, that's okay, but it is an insane truck at the end of the day. I hope you guys enjoyed the video.